How to become a CRNA for 2021. So in this video, I'm going to talk all about that, so definitely keep watching. My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. If it's your first time here and you want to become a CRNA or grow a CRNA career, definitely start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. So you might be thinking to yourself, I want to become a CRNA, and I'm here to give you the knowledge and power so you can take the steps to become a CRNA. Now comment below on what step are you in currently in starting to thinking about becoming a CRNA. I'd love to hear it down below. So let's talk about the main steps to become a CRNA. Now think about this too as well, is that a lot of the programs are transitioning from master's to doctoral degrees, okay? So the program's gonna be a little bit longer, okay? Also think about it too, that even though it's longer, for example, a program can be 2.5, 3 years, master's degree, and now it might be 3.5 years. So it may not be that much longer depending on the school you're applying to, okay, if you want to become a CRNA. Just think about that, meditate that, and really be aware of that because things are transitioning. By 2025, it's said that all of the CRNA programs will be doctoral degrees. Don't be intimidated by it because I'm going to give you the steps to become a CRNA, okay? So let's get started. Saying you're in high school and you're saying to yourself, I want to become a CRNA. Start thinking about improving your grades, being involved, and think of that mindset. Now also start shadowing. Start thinking about shadowing a nurse, shadowing a doctor, shadowing an educator. Just shadow, keep your options open. Because yes, you may say if you want to become a CRNA, but maybe you don't. You don't know. But I want you to shadow. Because shadow is key to anything. Shadowing allowed me to realize that I didn't want to become a doctor. I wanted to become a nurse. And this was the best fit for me, and that was my decision. So you want to make sure that that's the right decision for you. So definitely do that if you are in high school. Now, saying for example, you are in college right now. Maybe you're in an associate's prepare program or you're in a bachelor's prepare program. If you are in another degree, you have to start thinking about transitioning into another program. Maybe in your specific school, they might have a nursing program, but you want to go ahead either apply and transfer to that program, or even worst case scenario, transfer to another school. I've done it. I've transferred to another school in order to become a registered nurse. And if I did it, you can do it too. Now, there's differences in programs. There are associate's prepare programs to become a registered nurse, bachelor's prepare programs to become a nurse, and of course there are accelerated BSN programs, okay? These are 3 different approaches where you can become a registered nurse. Start off right now. So if you want to become a registered nurse and the only program you have available to you is an associate's prepare program, you can go ahead and apply to that program and become a registered nurse. The nice thing with that type of approach is that you can become a registered nurse, start working in the field of nursing. You even can work, depending on this hospital, you can even work as an ICU nurse. While you're working as an ICU nurse, you can go ahead and apply to a bachelor's prepare program and work towards your BSN degree while getting your ICU experience. So that gives you a heads up. So now you're a bachelor's prepare registered nurse, and you can go ahead and think about applying to a program. Now, say for example, you are thinking about now you're in high school, you're about to graduate, and now you're like, I want to become a nurse. I do recommend, if you can, try to apply for a bachelor's in nursing, okay? That will be a nice transition, as well as it'll speed up your process to become a CRNA. So definitely do that. Apply for a program, try to get into nursing school right away and get into a program and, become a registered nurse. Now, there are occasions where maybe this is your second career, and you were a teacher, or maybe you worked in an office, or you're an accountant, or you were a biologist in research, for example. You say, I want to become a registered nurse. What can I do? So now you have an option of becoming an option of being accepted into an accelerated BSN program. So you have a second degree, and this is going to be your second degree, and so you take your prerequisite courses, then you apply to the program, and as little as 12 months, on average 12 to 18 months, you can become a registered nurse. Okay? Awesome. Now, maybe this is a situation I forgot to discuss before, saying you're an LPN, for example. As an LPN, you can go back to school. There are some programs where they have a bridge program where you can become an LPN, apply to a bachelor's prepared program, or an LPN, go ahead and work towards your associate's prepared program as an RN, and then go ahead and continue the ladder like we talked about before about associate's prepared RN. Okay, so there's different stages you can do it, and it depends on you what stage you're in right now. So now you're a registered nurse, and you're like, yes, I graduated, I took my NCLEX exam, I am a nurse, right? First step, try your best to get into the ICU as soon as possible. There are programs where they have nurse residency programs, for example, where you can become an ICU nurse right after you graduate. And they have maybe a 1-year program where you have didactics, you have classes, you have meetings, you have a preceptor who works with you closely to help with that transition to becoming a nurse and of course becoming an ICU nurse, okay? And so you get your experience right off the bat, right after you graduate, your RN degree. So that is definitely an option to expedite your experience. So now you're a registered nurse, getting your ICU experience, and that's great. But there are some situations where it's rare, or it can be more popular depending on the person, that it all depends on the facility, it all depends on the area. Maybe you don't have the option to become an ICU nurse right after school. So what I recommend, going into a floor, for example, medical surgical floor, and within 6 months to a year, I recommend now, after you get a little 6 months of experience, start looking into transitioning into the ICU. Because now some ICUs, they want you to have at least 6 months to a year of medical surgical experience before you can go into the ICU. So do exactly that. Within 6 months to a year, and now transition and start interviewing for an ICU position. Go into the ICU, get your experience. There are rare occasions that you can, get a minimum of 1 year of ICU experience and get accepted into a CRNA program. It is possible. I know someone who's done that, okay? So it is possible, but it's rare. But you can. So even if it's not 1 year, maybe it might be 2 years. But it depends on your experience more than anything. With that specific example, with one of my friends, he knew before he even went into, to become a CRNA, he knew his plan. So he had another degree, applied to an accelerated BSN program, okay, became a registered nurse, went right into the ICU at a teaching institution, 1 year of experience. But within that 1 year of experience, he got his CCRN, certification in critical care, involved on his unit, charge, code team, committees, quality improvement measures, did research, for example, was involved, okay? Then within that year, and also he had really good grades. So that you got to have good, nice grades. It's not an end all. There are occasions where you may have a low GPA and get accepted, but it's all about the overall picture of you, and what you're doing to make yourself be strong. So he did that, and then within a year he applied and got accepted and went ahead and did his program. His program was a master's prepared program, but it's still a program at that point, and he got accepted. He went to CRNA school. It's hard, of course, but he did it. Graduating, he's a CRNA now. Pretty fast road. So that can happen for you too. So it's really about your experience and how involved you are on your unit. That really helps your resume. Because nowadays, everything is transitioning now, right? It's transitioning to doctoral degree. And a lot of doctoral degrees are research focused. So to allow yourself to be a strong applicant, research. I feel for me, it's so important. It's so amazing. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I think it is essential. It's the bare bones that you need in the medical field. So definitely think about that when you are in the ICU. Maybe try to be a part of a research project. When I was an ICU nurse, I was first going for a nurse practitioner, but for me, I'm always loves being involved and being involved in different things. And so I applied to a program during the summer where I got to do research in substance abuse, okay? But specifically in pharmacology. I was in the research lab and I was, doing all of the different, techniques with research, in that facility. And I really learned a lot. I did a poster presentation. It was awesome. And I really felt like, wow, research is amazing. There's ups and downs and ins and outs, but I feel you need research in order to be, in the medical field. So if you can somehow try to get into research, that would be amazing. Even being involved on your unit, charge nurse, etc. I could keep saying it more, but these things will help you become a CRNA fast and expedite your experience. So now you have done everything I've said before and you say to yourself, all right, now I'm ready to apply for CRNA school. What steps do you need to take? You got to make sure, look at your resume. Make sure you have all the prereqs, because some programs do have unique classes that it may want you to take. So make sure you look at that program, look at the prereqs that they require for that specific school. You also got to take your GRE, for example. It may be different nowadays. I haven't, been in school for a while, but you might think about GRE, MCATs, depending on the school, you may have to take that examination. Now, it also depends on your GPA. If you have a 3.5 or higher GPA, some programs will say you don't even need your GRE. You don't even need to take that in order to apply for the program. So definitely take that in consideration with your GPA, how that kind of can help you not have to take extra exams. And think about your resume, all those different things I'm talking about. Just really know that program, what they're looking for, and also a little tidbit, a bonus right here, is to kind of, say for example, you look into a program, you're like, I really like that program. That's the program for me. Kind of look more into detail about your professors. Now, what type of things your professors are interested in. Maybe what type of research projects that a lot of the professors are doing. Also, they may be connected to a teaching institution. Look into a little bit about the research that they're doing in their teaching institution. See if those things are of interest of you. And also, that could be something that you can actually do some research, say you're interested in it, and you can talk about that in your personal essay. That is amazing, because when you are in CRNA school, yes, you're going to learn a lot about anesthesia, a lot of information, going to get clinical experience, of course, a lot more, but you're going to have to do a research project. So now you can start thinking about that before you even, get accepted into a program. Now, I know you may say to yourself, will I get accepted? I don't have that answer for you. However, you can do everything you can to get accepted. I have many videos on how to become a CRNA, how to become CRNA fast. I have a lot of tips and tricks. Also, the interview, which is really important. So definitely check those videos out. So if you want to learn more about CRNA, how to become a CRNA, definitely click one of the videos over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.